places to eat and just sharing nice food and just sharing experiences in general. And there's this really funny quote from Wall Street Journal. Dave says, pre-digital, I don't remember anyone taking pictures of food on film or for personal use. So this is just to highlight how consumer has changed their behavior in both for looking for information and also for sharing their experience. And this brings us to social listening. So what is social listening? Social listening simply, it's a process of monitoring all of these conversations on social media and the web to understand what people are saying about a brand, product, or industry online. So I came across this video yesterday about a hair curler that Dyson launched. And I thought, this is a very great example. So, okay, you look at a YouTube video like this. What do you see? You see a girl who's kind of frustrated with the product that she bought. So this is product feedback. But at the same time, if you see it from a brand's perspective, it's also customer service opportunity. Like they can reach out to her, they can tell her, oh, if you're not happy, we will refund you, or we can replace your product. And also from a marketing perspective, this is great user-generated content. This is a bit negative, but it is user-generated content. And at the same time, if you look at who posted this video, with 4 million subscribers, she is definitely an influencer. So you see, just from this little video, there are like so many different aspects of your business that should look at it, that should care about this. And this is what social listening is all about. It's about looking at what your customers are saying online and using the different insights to fuel your strategy. So everybody knows, everybody's on social media now. 42% of the world population is active on social media. There are billions of users online, and a lot of them are using more mobile, meaning they're always on it. And what we want to say is really that consumers are changing fast. Another important information to know is that most of the Fortune 500 companies have disappeared as a result of digital disruption. What that means is more and more companies are losing because they cannot catch up with this digital transformation. And we think at Linkfluence that winning brands will be the ones who can understand their customers at the speed of the web. That's just a fancy way of saying, understanding customers when they are posting online on social media. And these are all the brands that we work with. Most of them you would have heard of. And these are like, really leading consumer brands who need to listen to what consumers are saying online, what you and I are saying about their burgers, what we're saying about their hair dryers, to better adapt their marketing and product strategy, which is what we're talking about today. So for AI-powered social listening in particular, so we discuss social listening, so monitoring conversations, but the advantage of AI-powered is really that, you do it on kind of on turbo. So for example, this is just one example of AI. So computer vision, it's about like identifying what's in the image, analyzing it, and then drawing insights that you may not, just from a human perspective, you might not see it or know the information. This is a post of an Asian woman reviewing a product online, kind of like the Dyson example, but this one is on a Chinese platform. So already, like, it may be a language that you don't know or cannot analyze. AI can do it for you, can translate it and then interpret it. So you can tell that she's happy. She's talking about your product with, we have logo recognition to know that she's talking about your product, and her sentiment, when she posted, engagement, her personal details, all of these things you can find out through AI. And that was just one post. Obviously, social listening is about doing this in a large, big scale, so you can analyze billions of posts in one go and not, just have to go through it individually yourself manually. And what's interesting that we've noticed is also that, we talk about social listening like it's just the digital online space, but actually more and more what happens offline happens online. So that means this is like social media kind of is a mini reflection of reality So that's why, it's so interesting for brands to look at. So obviously, ultimately, social listening is about knowing your audience, who they are, where they are, what they like or don't like. And today, I recently, like today, I just published a blog post that I find very interesting. It's about Trump and Twitter and social media politics. And through writing that blog post, I was looking at this topic wheel, which is basically a sample of negative tweets in the last 30 days. It was about like 13 million posts. And here you can see, thanks to AI, that all the negative posts are mainly about US politics in the last 30 days only, mainly about US politics. Donald Trump, Democratic Party, Republican Party, they're leading the negative conversations on social media. And if you look at this is the topic wheel of positive tweets, we see that the positive tweets are mainly about people. Obviously, in the last 30 days, this explains why it's mainly about Halloween and Chucky. I don't know why Lady Gaga and Lil Wayne are also in it. Maybe people are trying to dress up as them. And also Bohemian Rhapsody, which is the Queen's movie. I don't know if you've seen. It was a very good movie, by the way. So this is another example of how AI-powered social listening helps you digest, all the social data there's out there and help you understand, know your audience better. And then obviously, in the end, the ultimate goal is to target the right audience, know their demographics, who they are, their job titles, their age, know their distribution on different platforms, what kind of topics they talk about. And then this like what you're looking at here is when people are posting. So this is about like when do you want to reach them? When do you want to communicate with them at the best moment? And then ultimately it's to adapt your content and your product. So by identifying trends in different categories, you can, find influential contacts. You can identify outperforming products or topics that people are talking about. Glossy is a great brand that does a lot of user-generated content. Like they basically build their brand on social media, and that's thanks to being close to the customer, knowing what they want, and using the customer's feedback to fuel their product and marketing strategy. So this is just kind of a breakdown of how you can use AI social listening on in different ways. Next, I just want to go really quickly on a case study on something more concrete. So when you talk about social listening, it's really about identifying what is trending. So we talk a lot about identifying market trends. Veganism is a growing trend in the last couple of years. And our customers, notably Danone and McDonald's, they're very interested in this trend because obviously they're a food company. They want to know what kind of food people are consuming. And this change in food trend is really interesting for them. So we can see in this Google Trends chart that you don't need to pay anything to use. Vegan is really growing a lot quicker than vegetarian, for example. So there's a specific interest into this veganism trend. Even James Gordon is talking about it. A lot of celebrities are advocating veganism. So this is just an example of how social listening helped analyze market trends for brands. So what we did for them is we looked at the different communities that are driving the veganism movement. We saw that also there are people who are more about well-being and mindfulness and about the planet. Some people are more on the fitness and health side, about weight loss and stuff. So this is a concrete example of what I meant by understanding your audience and your community. Because when you do social listening, you can identify the different groups of people that are talking about different things, and then understand them on a more nuclear level. And so this is a hashtag associated with veganism, and you can tell that there are different hashtags based on the different topics. And this again shows you the main communities. And we also found that veganism was a youth movement, so mainly driven by young people. And well, I mean, it's kind of an interesting uh, correlation. Well, we're not sure whether it's because more young people are vegan. That's why more conversations are on social media because they use more social media, or because the veganism was trending on social. That's why young people were influenced. So it's kind of a chicken and egg situation, but we see, this relationship at least. And so we looked into millennial values, and we saw that veganism connects with millennial values. Both in sustainability, animal rights, and environmental protection, and all these things. And we actually have another report. You can tell by now that I am a foodie. We have another report on the rise of avocados, and we found that in that report, it's also driven by young people, and it's because it's trending on social media. And all the people on Instagram, like hashtag avocado toast, they're really driving the trend. So avocado is second most discussed superfood on social media, mainly by from 18 to 24-year-olds. So why am I telling you all about this? Why do we care about veganism? Why do we care about avocados? The thing is, it can fuel your product strategy. Like McDonald's, they launched a vegan burger. I think it was only available in the Scandinavian countries, maybe it's Finland or Sweden. But this is definitely a growing trend. There's vegan mayo, there is vegan leather. So knowing what your consumers care about in a global sense will help you inspire you product strategy, innovation, and stuff like that. And then obviously there's also the marketing aspect, because if you stand for a cause, then your customers will fight for you. Veganism in specific situations, the supporters are really vocal. So they would be like, oh, I will find you they write a lot of blog posts about top vegan restaurants or vegan brands. I was looking at Sephora and vegan products, and there are tons of blog posts about what kind of products you can find in Sephora that are vegan. So because consumers are so passionate about these causes, they will basically become brand ambassadors for you, and that's what's interesting for you as a brand. So yeah, well, obviously you don't need to create vegan products, but these are things, if we can just look at one use case, for example, one case study is that you need to care about what your audience care about. You should probably want to leverage causes that are interesting to young people because they're most active on social media. And then visual content is important. Influencers make a huge impact on social media. These are a few takeaways from just this veganism movement. Again, so social media is a really powerful platform for you to understand, but also speak to your customers. And, knowing this importance and trying to leverage this as much as possible will help you win in the long term. And this is just to sum up, the power of social data with some stats to really encourage everybody to leverage and use this largest focus group, if I can say, to understanding, customers online and offline, obviously. Right. So I think I nailed it for the timing. Yeah, maybe we have some time for questions now.
Yeah, that'd be great. So let's keep this screen share up so that the folks can see how to get in touch if they want to reach out. And we'll just answer the Q&A with this slide deck up. We do have a couple of questions, and they're interesting, so I'd like to get into those. And if we run a little bit long, that's okay too, because we started a couple of minutes late. Mm-hmm. Ben's asking, where did you get the data? Is it stuff that you researched? Where are some of the stats from?
Right. Okay. I should probably have explained that from the beginning. Basically, Linkfluence, it's a social listening company, obviously. So what we do as a company is we have a social listening platform where we analyze social media conversations and online conversations on all the major platforms. So Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Reddit, Quora, and all basically all publicly accessible data we have access to, and we analyze and get the insights from those sources.
Okay, great. That's really interesting. Uh, Somebody else is asking, do you have any suggestions for nonprofits that want to utilize social listening on a budget?
Yes, so I would say there are a lot of social listening or social media monitoring tools out there, and there are because there are so many. There's a range. There are even free ones. There are really not expensive ones. So if you are a nonprofit and you're just starting out, even if you're not a nonprofit, just starting out, first you can start with some free tools. Google Alerts, it would be a great one to start with, but know that Google Alerts only monitor web content and not social media. Otherwise, there are a couple free tools out there. If you just type social listening tool, you will find a lot of options. And if you message me privately, I can also throw you some, I can give you advice on different ones if you're wondering which ones to try out.
Sure, great. And you've got her contact information there, so feel free to reach out.
Yes.
Lakshmi is asking, can AI differentiate nuances while listening to identify whether it's negative or positive? For example, sarcasm might need a human, or what we think might need a human to be identified. What's the latest? How does this work with stuff like this?
I would say that sentiment analysis is definitely part of AI. And so we have like negative, positive, neutral, and we also recently started doing emotion analysis. So what that means is sadness, joy, grief, anger. But you're right. Nothing will ever beat like the nuance that a human can understand. But what AI does is trying to replicate human nuances as much as possible by the fact that we have such a huge amount of data, and we can train the machine learning algorithms to kind of learn to detect different nuances. There is obviously limitations to that, but I think we're getting pretty close as to how accurate it could be. And the fact that we are working on big data means that it's easier to train the machines and detect nuances for it to learn the nuances because we're training it with billions of posts and not just five, and if it goes out of that 5 posts, then they don't know what to do. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. I've got another similar question. Oh, well, they were asking, can it pick up trolls? I think this is a similar sort of question. So let's go to the next one. This is interesting. Hendry is asking is if there's a parameter or a criteria to draw from for using the AI social listening. How do we know that the data analyzed is statistically significant? Is there a minimum amount of data that we should take? How do we sort of approach?
Okay, right. I think we're talking about, there are different types of social listening. So you could do it by monitoring your brand. So basically it's keyword based. So if you are monitoring like Mobile Monkey or Microsoft or McDonald's, then it's the keywords and then the related products that you want to monitor. And then we detect all the conversations that contain those keywords. So it's exhaustive. So if your brand is discussed a lot on social media, you'll get a lot of data. If your brand is kind of new and nobody really talks about you much yet, then you won't get a lot of data. But if we're talking about detecting industry trends, market trends like veganism or social media trends, then we actually have a research team, and the research team has their own methodology to say like there has to be a minimum of how many million posts for the analysis to be really representative, for the results to really speak to really mean something. So there is a minimum when you are doing, market trends analysis. I hope that's clear.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. That's a great answer. All right, we don't have any more time for any more questions. Sorry, guys. If you want to reach out directly and talk with Joey, you can reach her at joey.chan@linkfluence.com, or you can tweet her at Joey with two E's. So thanks, Joey, for joining us. It's been great, and we look forward to seeing what Linkfluence is doing in the future.
Thank you. Looking forward to your questions. Tweet me. I will also keep staying for the next speakers in this amazing marketing summit. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you again very soon.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Joey. Have a great day. For those out there that are, see you later. For those out there that are looking forward to the next session, you've got something very exciting coming up. We've got Pinterest, Uber, and Irritable all on the same panel. It's a unicorn panel about best practices for acquiring, engaging, and retaining customers at scale. Now, a couple of people asked in the chat, are these videos being recorded? Yes, of course, we're recording all these videos. You can get a 1-year access pass to all of these recordings at the link below. It's a big green button that says All Access Pass. I don't have time to go into all of the details right now, but the content from today's summit is just one of the many benefits that you get from the All Access Pass. But for right now, hang on, and we're going to take you right over to the Unicorn panel with Vasile, my co-host, asking questions. So we'll see you there. Thanks.